Hey guys, first fan of the night.
First fan of the night.
We did do some behind the scenes footage, so go to patreon.com/dspiffy to see that. What do we have here, Rick?
All right.
Set your watch.
So, as this is a Hunter R52 from the 1940s, and that is a very blanket statement because this has actually been a very long ongoing project. As some of you know, there was a abandoned grocery store in Gary, Indiana that had a very rusty Hunter R52 that had been in there since probably when it was put up new in the 40s. And the store was abandoned in the early 1990s, so it sat vacant for about 30 years, or almost over 30 years probably. And that poor R52 sat in a very, very moist environment with zero air circulation whatsoever for all that time, and was at a very, very bad state by that point in time. Now, some of you have probably seen the original photos of when Stuart and I were able to rescue this fan. And what you're seeing right here is what I'm calling the finished product for the project. It is not entirely the Gary fan. It is as much as was practically salvageable. The main issue we ran into with the original motor, and I guess innards that you could say, was that the stator was so rusted to either the shaft and or the windings to the point where even
the rotor.
Like,
the rotor was rusted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, rotor. Yes, rotor was rusted to the stator and or shaft, and it was so bad to the point where like aggressive pounding was just breaking shards off, and it got to a point where it just you couldn't get it out. It was not going to happen. So this is what I'm calling the finished product. So let's walk through what we see here. So this is a canopy from eBay. I think it's actually a GE canopy because it's dark green inside. But Hunter used a very, very similar one. This, I'm not sure where that came from. It was something that came with an eBay fan. This bit right here, so basically the innards of the motor and the upper bit of the housing, that came off of a 1949 eBay R52. That was actually, it was a bunch of incorrect parts. There were, the wrong blades, the wrong incorrect faceplate. Bunch of parts that were not for a 1949 fan. So I use this as the donor fan to basically give us good windings and a good rotor. The blades are actually off of some probably like late 80s, early 90s Hunter, like maybe a Studio Series or something like that. The faceplate is the Gary fan. The irons are the Gary fan. The switch housing is the Gary fan, and this was not easy because it turns out in the year 1949, which is when this part came from, they changed the threads for the switch housing. It went from a much finer thread to a coarser thread. So I was determined enough to get this switch housing on the fan, so enough that I actually retapped the entire thing using a giant die. And
you retapped the switch housing or the fan? Or the rotor?
No, the switch housing.
Okay.
To fit, so the rotor is the newer style. In fact, It's the same as a modern Hunter original. This would have been a much finer thread, but I redid the threads into it. Dan witnessed me do that to get it to fit onto this. And last but not least, the label is actually the Gary label as well. If you're a purist, it is serial number F33628, F indicating 1942. The Gary fan is from 1942, so this whole thing is 40s loosely, but again, parts are 42, parts are 49. And I ended up just tapping holes and screwing it right onto there. The switch cap is custom. That's actually just one I made and drilled holes. And then it just has a modern 3-speed pull chain. I put the modern Hunter fob on it because I found it kind of funny. And that, my friends, is what I'm calling the completed Gary R52.
Wow, that is.
It was quite the project, but yes, I'm really proud of this, and I think it kind of sucks that we weren't able to salvage the original innards and upper motor housing, but given what I had to work with, I think this is probably best case scenario. So, all right.
First of all, we're just over 4 minutes.
Okay, so not bad.
Second of all, I want to point out that as far as we know, because we haven't actually been able to test it with power and movement, the stator from the actual Gary fan is probably good. It reads good on an ohm meter, and so does the speed coil. So we might actually have a donor stator out of that one if we ever need one. The trick is going to be getting it out of there.
Right.
Pretty much would have to destroy the housing to do it, but they're, if we need it, it's there.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the blades are from like a Brentwood maybe or something like that, because most hunters didn't have wingtips.
I think it was a Piedmont or
Piedmont, yeah.
Piedmont, because it actually was a set of 5. I have a 5th one of that, and they came from eBay at one point. I was just looking for wingtip blades that fit hunters.
Yep.
So that's
it's definitely a GE canopy, but I didn't notice that until you pointed it out.
Yeah, it's dark green inside, which I know that was a GE trademark.
Because Hunter actually they used a different canopy, I think, on the 52-inch fans, but it's very similar to what the 36-inch fans would have used.
That's because I used my 1032 as an example to find something that was about right. So I think it looks fine. I mean, it looks antique-y.
Yeah. Do we know when they would have switched from that canopy to the trumpet type canopy?
51.
We figured that out in restoring the trumpet fans, and also I believe it's in the workbench video that I did with Hicks.
Yep.
It was early 50s. Almost positive of that.
But the interesting thing is that R&M used those trumpet canopies long before Hunter did. That's an R&M design. If you think about it, like the 20s and 30s, R&Ms have those trumpet canopies. Only difference is the Hunter versions are cast, and the R&M versions are stamped. I actually got a few extra of the R&M versions that I bought on eBay when I was looking for parts for the trumpet ones.
That's really interesting. I thought they were all the same. I didn't even realize it.
I know. Well, you realized it at the same time I did, I think, right?
Yeah,
when they arrived.
I think we were there that day
Yeah.
looking at them. We're like, wait a minute.
These aren't quite the same. Right. They look the same from a distance, but like you put them next to each other, you can tell the difference. Well, we'll talk about trumpet canopies in a future video.
Yes.
Metal Pete's on his way here, just in case you're wondering why he's not here yet.
There could be a very metal arrival during the video.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, we'll look for a surprise crunching or possibly even Metal Jonas. We'll see. But hopefully he'll be here before the end of the video because we wanted him to give his metal scale on this one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm very proud of how this turned out, or proud of Rick, however you want to put it, because I was involved, but he did the vast majority of the work.
I got it. Well, quick aside to that, I got to say a big thank you to Chuck Engelmeyer. A lot of the parts, at least the irons and faceplate, still would be on the other motor if it weren't for him.
And probably the switch housing.
Switch housing, yeah. So he was a big, big help in getting this stuff off of the old motor, so at least we could make use of some of the parts.
Thank you for reminding me, because I'll send him this video, and I can almost guarantee he'll watch it. He's watched other fan stuff that I've sent him that he's helped with. Yes. Yeah, Chuck is one of... I know we took some footage from his shop that might be available on Patreon. It's private footage, but I also we did a workbench video with him. It's public. If you haven't seen that, that was all done the same day. Mm-hmm. And Chuck is one of my resources that I go to when I'm stumped. There's very little that he couldn't figure out, and in fact, if he'd had more time, he probably could have figured out how to get that rotor out of there, if it was even possible.
If it was even possible.
Yeah, Chuck is just a phenomenal mind at figuring out any sort of project. Like I said, when I get stumped, he's my go-to, or at least one of them, and an absolutely wonderful person as well. So yeah, definitely look for that footage. Thank you, Chuck.
Yes. So.
Anything else you guys want to say?
The last thing I'm going to say is that in its original installation, it actually had a Westinghouse canopy, the same one that you'd see on like a Westinghouse Standard or a Sidewinder. And that leads us to believe that this probably replaced a Westinghouse fan at some point. The store opened in the 1920s, so I mean that would definitely check out at the time. I don't know if they ran it without oil and it seized, or they smashed the blades accidentally or something, and this was the replacement for it. But
I mean, nowadays people buy a new fan within 10 years just because they want a more modern design.
It's possible. Maybe the store changed ownership or something and they replaced it. I don't know.
It also could have been something like a Rotair, and they wanted a conventional ceiling fan.
I also was
or a gyro.
I was also alerted to the fact that it might have been a DC fan, and when they converted to AC, it wouldn't work.
That's a good point as well. Yeah, Westinghouse did make all those options in DC. Okay,
that's possible. But anyway, so I think and I wanted to make a point to make sure Andy was here, because I know he loves these old originals, and wanted to make sure he saw this one. So.
Yeah, this is an Andy day. Not just because he's here, but because
there's some good Andy
multiple of the fans we are testing are fans that he would want to be here for. So Andy is here, and like I said, Metal Pete will be here shortly. The only person we're really missing is Stuart.
Yeah, I will definitely have Stuart watch this video, because Stuart was instrumental in getting this fan down as well. So
yeah,
definitely shout out for him as well.
Go and look for mullet footage.
Oh yeah. All right, we ready? So it is a 3-speed speed coil, just like pretty much all the antiques used. It is set to low with the pull chain. Here we go. I've been remaining silent, so hopefully it picks up the harmonics. So
Same.
definitely are some.
It's got quite the startup whine. We'll definitely hear that in 0 to high.
Oh yeah.
93 watts, 0.44 power factor.
Okay. Oh, where's our...
Right here. What are you looking for?
Yes, sir. All right, and this is actually a pretty decent low considering it's a speed coil, because you know how speed coils are sometimes. Getting a very clean 385 on 3.
Those seem very clean.
We'll say 380.
95 sounds about right.
That reminds me, I did find another calculator. That's huge, so we won't lose it. It's harder to lose.
Are you going to do airflow on all speeds?
Oh yeah, actually, I also do it on high.
Okay. I mean, there's no objection, but also no
Well,
real reason to do it.
Okay. There
Yeah.
is medium. Yeah, the irons are actually really well still in clock because this wasn't ever taken down aggressively. Like we were the ones who took it down, so like it's we weren't bending irons, and it's it's pretty much still all intact. So.
It's definitely flying on medium.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think medium's all that different from high.
106 watts, half power factor. And that's a lot closer to high.
Yeah. It's good.
Oh, we're already over 200.
Right, so I'm reading 8, so we'll just say 820.
Yeah, right around 205.
205.
Ready for high.
All right, high speed. Even then, there's a bit of an uptick.
Went up to 1.92.
I remember in the Oregon shop attic, you used to do kind of the subjective airflow test where you just kind of crouch down
Yep.
at a distance from the...
If you could feel it like across
The irony is that test is ended up being really accurate as far as when you compare what fans ranked where on that and then what fans ranked where on our CFM readings. It ended up being pretty on the nose.
Well, as long as you keep it consistent, that's the key. I mean, if you're measuring it at the same time, every time you'll get, pretty accurate.
Yeah, and there was a pile of box fans.
Oh, okay, so on high...
910.
913.
What's 913? Okay. So that's about 228.
Yeah. So medium and high are pretty close together, but... Alright, and now, let's see what the airflow is. 669 is the highest I'm seeing.
So that's about 9,900 CFM. So that's, you could either call that the high end of like the K55 category or the low end of the gold line category. Well, no, I'd say that's solidly gold line category because K55 fans are in the like 7s and 8s. Mm-hmm. And then once you get into industrials, you're in the 9s, 10s, 11s, all the way up to 14. Mm-hmm. But most K55 fans are about 7,000 to like, I'd peak out at 9,000, I'd say. So this is
this is
solidly above the...
All right, and spin down. I'm also impressed it's not too loud, given is that the mounting is a very kludgy, homemade thing.
I'm
it's
curious
metal, so.
how much of that, because it doesn't sound like it's reverberating through the building, so I'm curious how much quieter it would be.
Like if it was on an actual...
If it was on, I don't know. It sounds like it might not be that much quieter. Is there any rubber in the blade mount thing? Like the blades have rubber groundings?
They do between the blades and the irons, because they were from...
Is that metal? I heard a sound.
Maybe. Metal or sheep? Metal!
Still Rick or sheep.
Good timing.
Okay, just in time for the test rig. We're filming the first of Rick's.
Okay.
This is the Gary original, Pete.
Oh.
Or as close to it as we're gonna get.
What? What's?
Parts of it are from an eBay fan, but this is the final Gary product.
Oh,
basically.
the one from.
That really rusted, messed up one that was
Yeah.
in the. This is parts of it are this.
So what's original and what's not?
I'll go over very quickly for his metalness. This is Gary. This is Gary. This is Gary. This is eBay.
Okay.
Basically, the innards and the upper motor housing are from.
The rotor is.
Rotor is from as the eBay fan.
eBay.
This is
faceplate is.
Faceplate is Gary. This is Gary. This is Gary. I had to custom tap this to fit because it's a different thread, and the badge is Gary.
Okay.
So really, just the faceplate, the irons, the switch housing, and the badge are original.
Right. Which in a
Which is
sense,
still a nice save.
which
Yeah.
in a sense, when you look at it from the bottom, that's mainly what you're seeing, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, we'll still hit
Alright.
the 10 switch and see.
So let's see. So do we think it's going to start at 10?
Um,
I'm going to say probably no.
no.
Everybody say no. I'll be the lone yes then.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rebel.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's no. So all right, so 11, 12.
Crunch.
I guess I'll budge. 13's thinking about it. 14. 15.
Hey, you're humming.
I'm gonna have a stiff spot. 16.
Yeah, there it goes. There it
Or
goes.
it's just 16 barely.
A little stiff.
17.
That should go.
No, that's definitely stiff.
Definitely a stiff spot.
18. 19.
We're drawing an amp and a third already.
Yeah, it's like we're stalled out.
Here's 21.
There she goes.
So it started, yeah, I think we had a stiff spot on the. Let me go back. I think it probably is going to start like 15, 16. Let's give that another shot. Okay. 14. Even 14's thinking about it. 15. 16. It also has never been oiled either. I mean, it is now.
You're right. This is its first
It has
oil.
Yeah, so it might be a little stiff in that sense. Okay, well, I guess in the current state,
Yeah, it's not gonna.
it looks like it's going to be 21. Not like I'd be using this on a capacitor control anyway, but
No.
No.
okay. Here's 22. $23.
We're awfully close.
24.
Technically, I think that's over, but that's also probably because it hasn't had a chance to, like, go up and back, like, do inrush and back down again.
Right. Yeah, it definitely needs to run, I think, to get some of the WD through it. Because that looks more like medium, honestly.
Well, do a favor, hit high and then turn it back off again. Like, let it run, like,
Let it wind up.
yeah.
Here's high.
Turn it back down. See what it draws now.
I'll do it with that. No,
Interesting. Now it's...
flying.
That's... Hit the high switch again? Yeah, it's over.
What?
Yeah, it's being weird.
It's doing weird things with the capacitor.
Yeah. Told you, shaded pole and capacitors don't always
They
play
don't-
well
yeah,
together.
I kind of figured this wasn't going to be especially good on capacitor-based speeds. So, all right, well, I guess we'll just do solid state then.
How noisy do you think it's going to be, Pete?
I think I'll call it bedroom quiet. Usually shaded poles.
What do you think, Rick and Andy?
I think I'll give it silent, not counting the harmonics it already has.
Right.
What are you going to do, Andy?
Guess I'm left with the living room then.
I guess I'm with loud.
All right, there we go. Definitely get better speeds with solid state.
Yeah. It's a little noisier than it is with factory speeds. Not much, though.
No, it's still pretty decent.
Yeah.
Now, was this?
That's probably worse
What
than
color was this originally? Was it
Black, yeah.
So it was black. Actually, yeah, both involved motors were black originally.
They were.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And what about these blades themselves?
The blades came off like probably a Hunter Piedmont, which
Okay.
is like a 5-blade studio series, basically.
Yeah.
Because it's a set of 5 blades actually, but I wanted something that was wingtip, so that's
Yeah.
why I went with these.
Okay.
So, but yeah, what are we calling that? Like bedroom?
Yeah, I think bedroom's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, now for 0 to high, so Pete can really see. And let's
Yeah.
all stay quiet.
Yeah, Pete, listen to the harmonics because you know these antique
I
hunters often.
already heard them when you
Little bit,
hit
yeah.
the high, but let's,
Okay, so it's drawn like 1.7 something on high. How high do we think the inrush is going to be?
I probably shouldn't say because I saw it earlier.
Right, yeah.
We never did a strict 0 to high, though, did we?
Maybe not. I think maybe we did 0 to low. I don't remember.
We might have, yeah.
Okay. Well, Andy's probably guess first, right?
Okay, I'll throw out 1.9.
I'll go 2.0.
What do you think your metal is? How high?
I think 2.3.
Ooh. Going aggressive.
He might be on this, honestly.
Yeah, I think Pete might have this. I was gonna go higher. I'll go 2.2 just to be in the middle.
Okay.
But I think 2.4 is not the craziest either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Pete got it.
2.34.
2.34. So 2.4 I would have been over. Oh, we talked through it.
It's on the. He said he's heard it and it was on the.
Yeah.
You do CFM?
We
did
did.
it, so it was
9,900. So well into the industrial/antique category.
Yeah, antique.
Above the K55 category
Oh
for sure.
yeah, that's like gold line or
Yep.
cast iron industrial. I kind of say now because
A lot of them are similar. Or really good blender fan is up there.
that's why I now started to just say cast iron industrial because I got others that are
Yeah.
Yes.
that insane, like the butterfly and that SMC up there. You know
Mm-hmm.
how those are. Those
It's amazing
are,
how much more metal this video got very
Yes, it
quickly.
got very metal. I'm glad you got to witness it because
Yeah.
this has been quite the project. See, Steve.
Yeah, we've been waiting on this one for a while. Okay, anything else we want to say before we do our categories and our sponsors?
So I would never use this on a capacitor-based control, but otherwise, I probably put it on a solid.
I
state
would
possibly.
let some oil and WD-40 run through it for a while, and then maybe try it on a capacitor-based control again. Yeah.
And for the record, these given that these are 90s Hunter blades, they actually are reversible to like a fake rosewood.
Yeah, like a fake walnut, I think.
So there, that is another
That I like much better.
Right. I have
It's definitely a stiff stop in there on the.
Yeah.
I wonder if this. Did you change? What did you do with that? Sometimes the bearing stack, if one thing in it is upside down, it'll make it a lot
I made
stiffer.
a real point to take it out one at a time because I was afraid
Okay.
that would that did happen with my 1032. It's in the same way, and again, it's full of WD right now, so I don't know if.
Yeah. Sometimes, if a fan is completely clean, sometimes it won't run well until you put actual oil in it. It's kind of a catch-22, where if there's dirt in there, it won't run well till you get the dirt out, which WD-40 is better at doing. But then if it's relatively clean, it won't run good until you put oil. So, like for the antiques in my house, I've just been alternating oil and WD-40, and usually that helps. But for an initial test, I always do WD-40 first because that'll help clean anything that's still left in there, whether it's from painting or from original oil, etc. Okay, well, since Metal Pete has shown up, how metal is this?
Oh, this is definitely extreme death metal.
Okay.
Get a nice aesthetic glow. We really haven't shown much
Yeah.
of an aesthetic glow on this.
How many trains and storms and stuff is this?
Oh, that's definitely a solid EF5 tornado.
Oh yeah.
Is that the strongest tornado?
Yes.
Okay.
Or at least on scale. On scale they have.
Did you manage to catch any of the tornadoes here
I am not.
in Wisconsin? So you went to Iowa storm chasing while we had tornadoes in Madison.
As far as I know, there is wind. It was all straight line wind damage in Madison. No, nothing.
It wasn't an actual funnel.
Tornadoes, correct.
Well, all I know is the sirens went off, so I call that a tornado.
No, actually, sirens go off just over severe thunderstorms.
I find
these
it funny
days.
that this draws an amp.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But it's only 30 watts though.
Yeah, yes, that is true. Lower wattage, but
That's why
just
power
for-
companies hate things with low power factors, because you'd only be paying for the watts, but they're having to produce an amp.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
okay.
and if you can't tell based on the amount of work I put into this, it's definitely going to be avocado plants for me. I went pretty above and beyond to get
What
this
is Andy doing?
somewhat of a.
Oh.
Oh, I know what he's doing.
Okay.
But anyway.
Oh, I know what he's doing.
Yes, I
Okay.
know exactly what he's doing. We still got the sponsor.
Yeah.
so-
No. Yeah. We got a lot of things to do before we get there. Okay. The only person left is me.
Yeah, and then down.
I mean, this particular version, and I'm not counting the Rick fuckery, because I would have used different blades, and other than that, I don't know that I would have done anything different. And I do get why he liked the wingtips.
Yeah, that was what because the original blades were
Would have wingtip. Yeah, and if I couldn't find wingtips, would I have gotten solid wood plain blades, or would I have gotten I don't know what I would have done. So maybe I would have gone with this option. I don't know. It's not a bad option, but just like assuming that the fan is all original, these are low end of Menards for me. I like the adaptaire version much better. I like the 50s, 60s, 70s versions much better. But I still like these a lot, as evidenced by the fact that there's several in my collection. Not this. Well, there might be something with. I know I've got this exact version with the hotel version with a light fitter. It's in one of the banana boxes. I can't remember what else I have. There's the slightly later version with the 2-speed one. Yeah, I've got a few versions of this kicking around. They're just, I mean, it's an original. No original is going to be out of the top category for me, and especially no antique original, and then as good of a performer as these are. It's just probably one of my lesser favorite versions, at least of the antiques, just because I think the proportions of these are weird to me. The nose is really long, the motor is really shallow, and then, that said, all the work that Rick and Chuck and I did on this makes me like it more, so I think that bumps it maybe into the middle of Menards. I don't know. It's. I guess I'm splitting hairs by saying where in Menards is it, but
that's fair. I mean, yeah, I think all of us definitely like this pretty
yeah, I've been excited to test this, mainly just because of all the work that's gone into it in the story. It's a great story.
Yeah.
Both the rescue of it, all the work that's gone into seeing what could be salvaged.
This is by far the biggest restoration I've ever undertaken, at least for a film.
And it looks good. It doesn't look like it's a perfect restoration, but it's not supposed to.
It's not. It was in an abandoned store for 30 years.
You know what would make me like this better?
What, shorter down rod?
No, down rod doesn't make a difference. Longer down rod looks perfect.
Well, then I don't know.
I would put an isolation ring on it. I know that's also not era appropriate, but the blades aren't, and
I probably wouldn't do that, but I mean, I get it. To me, they stick down far enough as it is.
Yeah.
Usually they're more recessed. At least on newer originals, they are.
Yeah. Okay, well, we gotta thank our sponsors.
Oh, yes.
Fan Stick, Light Stick, Taco Burrito Mexico, Sperry the Beverage of Fan Collectors, the Good Manufacturing Company, 81220 LLC, where our motto is crunch, 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 crunch. RickRescue.com, a fun game you can play with your friends. Power Vacuum, the vacuum with more vacuums. Is that all the sponsors?
I believe so. Oh, if we don't forget the batteries.
Oh, yes. Yudong batteries. When I think of batteries, I think of Yudong. Well, I guess that's all the sponsors, so it's time to wrap up the video. So everybody, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching and all of that. And who's that at the door? Why, look, it's Metal Jonas.
Oh, that's a lovely antique original. Marvelous. Oh.
I don't know about Metal Jonas, but other Jonas would like it even more if it had 2 blades.
That's true. That is.
All antiques get 2 blades in Jonas World.
I forgot about that.
He used to make all of his fans into 2-blade fan. He had like a 2-blade blender fan in his house when he was a kid because then it made it look more like an antique to him. So, what do you think about that, Metal Jonas?
Oh. Not quite sure. I'm more for 4-blade.
Okay. You looking for anything while you're here, Metal Jonas?
How about, do you have any hunter catalogs?
Yes, we do. We have 5 of them.
Oh. And how about some homestead catalogs?
Yes. All of the 1985 ones.
Oh, marvelous.
Form
From
1985.
1985, yes.
What do you think of House on the Rock, Metal Jonas?
Oh, House on the Rock.
One
One
word.
word, incredible.
One word.
Overwhelming.
One word.
Amazing.
Wow. Well, on that note, patreon.com/dspippy. Thanks for watching, and
Bye,
Fan Stick.
thanks for watching.